All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of The Urban Gardener. Today, it's been snowing outside here in southern Oregon, a little late in February for winter snow, so what we're going to do is we're going to spend our time indoors planting out our pepper seeds. But before we get to doing that, I'd love to ask you to like this video real quick and hit the subscribe button, follow along with further garden adventures as we get gardening here in the springtime coming up on The Urban Gardener. So it got kind of a little bit warm here earlier in the month here in February, and seems that like a lot of our garlic just really started to jump out of the ground, starting to feel the soil warm up a bit. But as nature has in store for us during these times is always a nice little surprise cold winter storm. This one's not very big. This snow will be gone here probably in the next few hours, and we'll be closer to spring. As well as getting our 2018 pepper seedlings and plants started and getting those going and getting that process underway. One of the things I wanted to do is kind of revisit something that we did on the very first part of the 2017 peppers. I'll put a link right above here, an iCard, that you can check out that episode. One of the things that kind of came up then as well as now are some similar things. Maybe utilize the first day of this pepper growing episode and whatnot to talk about determination. Determination to get done, those sort of things that you set goals for yourself to get done. Now, I set myself a lot of different goals as I'm working on the second year coming up of this channel, so there's some bigger things and some things that I want to get done and I want to get going and doing. But as life is and life does, there's a lot of things that come in and come into it and get in your way and try to stop you from getting to where you want to go and what you want to do. And you can't let those things really take too much away from you and stop you from doing the things you want to do. And this doesn't necessarily have to do with gardening in general, but it does for me, and it does on many other aspects of what I'm doing in my life as well. Just being determined to not let these lows in life get in the way of what you plan on doing. You know, there's just so many things that can come up. I'm going to put an iCard above. I really encourage you to check out this episode. This is one of the things that I will show is one of the things that kind of got in my way this winter. We did lose one of our great friends here in the garden, our little alley cat bug, and it was a really hard thing for me to deal with as we were coming into this new year. But at the same time, I kind of reflected back on some of those things that I had started out as I made plans for myself last year. Last year went incredibly well. Everything's been going incredibly well with this channel, and I've been so encouraged by you and everybody else who has come along with me on this garden adventure and has encouraged me to continue to move forward and do the things that I'm doing. So I want to send this message out to all of you as well, to just be determined to get past some of these lows in life and to continue to move forward and accomplish those things that you've set for yourself. There's no reason why we shouldn't be living our lives, wearing a smile, and applying that to our lives and getting those sort of things done for ourselves that we need to be really focused on. Okay, I wanted to really set that out and put that out there, and also to show all of you guys, if you've watched that episode about bug and everything, that I am doing a little bit better, and we are going to move on and move forward here in the urban gardens and get things going. It's going to be incredible to see what we get and how they end up turning out as we get towards the end of the season. So it would be great to look back at all those sort of things at that point in time and show how much our determination really paid off. So now it's time to get started with one of my favorite things to grow in the gardens, peppers. We featured kind of a series or so last year, the 2017 growing peppers. This year we're going to try to do a very similar thing, take you through some of the similar steps and everything. The 2018 growing peppers episode today. We're going to go over some of the different varieties that I'm growing. Peppers are one of my favorite plants to grow because there's so many different varieties that you can grow. They come in all different shapes, sizes, and heat content. They come from very sweet to blowing your mind out super hot. And we're going to be growing well within that whole range this year in the pepper garden. They also present different challenges. Peppers can be kind of difficult. Some types of plants and some varieties, some of them grow really well and strong and produce a lot. And we had a lot of different types of those different things going on with our peppers that we grew last season as well. This year though, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cut down on the amount of varieties that we're going to grow. We're going to slim down. I think last year we grew somewhere around 30 varieties of peppers. And this year I think we're going to just break it down almost in half, around 15 to 18 varieties or so. We're going to grow maybe more plants of certain varieties for production and for use out of the gardens here in the home, and to also trade around with friends and give out to different people. So let's get to growing some of those peppers. Let's talk about some of those pepper varieties that we're going to be growing in our 2018 pepper garden. And in a moment, we'll plant out a few of them and we'll set them up in our seed starting light station that we have. We got our peppers all laid out here, and I've got them from sweet to super hot. We're going to start off here with an Italian orange pepper that we grew this last season, and it was really, really delicious. So we'll be growing it again this season. It's just a nice, long, sweet orange pepper. Really delicious. And I got here also a large bell pepper, which you got to have a nice large bell pepper in your collection. This one's delicious. I got it from a pepper grower a couple of seasons ago. Just a really, really great pepper, and I want to continue to grow this one. So we got some seeds from that we've saved, and we'll be growing that one again. And from the same actual pepper gardener, who's actually more of like a pod reviewer, his name's Brando Toe, and I'll put a link down to his channel. I got this pepper, and this is a dried one that I found just a little bit earlier, but it's a long red pepper, and it looks like it would be like a really hot red pepper. Really looks really hot, but it's actually very, very sweet. This pepper is delicious. It's one of those types of peppers you just go out into the garden, pluck right off the plant, and just munch on. You can munch on a handful of these things, or if you get some of the really, really big pods, there's plenty to eat with just one. So we'll be growing this here. It's called the Dos des Landes, and I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing that right, but like I said, we'll have the names right down here on the screen. So the next one, we're just going to move into Cubanelles. We grew Cubanelles. I've been growing those actually probably for the last 3 or 4 years. It's probably one of the first peppers I actually started growing when I was learning to grow peppers. So we'll continue to grow the Cubanelles as well. And then we've got some Anaheim chilies that we're going to try to grow in the garden this year. I've really been wanting to try those. I had some from a different gardener a couple of years ago, so it was something I wanted to introduce. I didn't get any seeds last season, but this year we're going to grow some this year. And then, of course, we've got poblanos. Really, really love the poblanos, and so do a lot of my coworkers and people that I have friends and stuff around the neighborhood. So I like to grow plenty of poblanos, and that way I can kind of have something I can give around to people as well and have plenty to use for myself, because these plants produce quite a bit. You get a really good poblano plant and you're going to have a ton of them. So we'll have a couple of different plants of those, so we can grow those. And then, of course, you got to have your jalapenos when you're growing your peppers. You know, that's going to help make some really good salsas and all of that. Same with a bit of some cayennes and serranos that we'll try just a plant or two each of some of those there. And then we're going to get to some of the more hotter varieties. And from Baker Creek, I've got some chocolate habanero. We grew some of those last year. I didn't get very many pods and didn't seem like I was very successful at that. So I really, really wanted to try again and see how well we can get maybe some peppers growing this year. Maybe we get some really good pods out of that. As well as we got some Scotch bonnets, which actually grew really well. I have a friend who really liked those, so I'm going to grow some more of those and be passing those along with him. And from another YouTube gardener, Chris Brandsdal from Norway. Talked about his channel quite a bit, a couple of different times. Like I said, link down below to his channel there. He sent me some pepper seeds a couple of seasons ago, and I grew those out. And we'll be growing a couple of different varieties left over from seeds that I've saved from some varieties that he sent me. One of them, though, I really actually liked, and so did some other people that I passed some of the peppers along to, was this ahi pineapple. He did give me a couple of other different varieties of ahi, but the ahi pineapple was really something else. So we're going to actually grow that one again, and also as well as, you know, some regular habaneros. I've got these here, so I'll get another link down below to a friend named Brendan, and he sent me some of these seeds from some hot pepper plants that he grows. I don't know if he's going to be growing hot peppers this year. I think that's something he's said recently that he won't be doing, but he'll be growing some other things and whatnot, so it'd be cool to check his channel out. So like I said, check out Brendan's channel, link down below. But he sent me some of these really, I believe, really hot peppers. I'm not sure exactly how hot they are. I'm probably guessing that they're probably somewhere in the super hot range. So he gave me a couple of different packets of seeds from different pods from a different from the same plant. So we've got a few different plants that we're going to try to grow and see how they different from each other as well. And let's see here. Sugar Rush Peach. We got this. I'll put another link down below to or actually maybe we'll put an iCard up to a video that a friend of mine, Chris Robles, did last season for us. We grew the Sugar Rush Peach. This was one of Christopher Brandsdal's peppers that he sent us from Norway. Grew some really interesting looking pods for Sugar Rush Peach, so we thought that was kind of interesting. So I saved some of those from those particular pods to see kind of how that turns out this year. So that's just kind of be something that we're going to look at to see kind of what the difference from one plant year to the next is. And I want to be able to check that out. We've got a couple of different varieties, same from Chris Robles. He gave me one of the peppers that he grew out of his garden. So I've got that. I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm going to have to find that out from him. We'll talk about that a little bit more. So we'll be growing some of that. I've got a couple of other types of varieties of hot, super hots that I'm not sure if we're going to actually grow or include. So that might differentiate the number of actual varieties that we end up when we're growing this year. Now it's time for us to get started planting out the different varieties of peppers that we have. We get our plants started out here early in the season. It's probably not as early as I'd like to get them started, but we get them started out early enough to where we can get them going in our seed lighting station, kind of transplant them out into some solo cups, get them growing to a pretty good size before we take them outside and harden them off and get them growing outside. Right around the time of our last frost, we'll be putting them out up on top of our rooftop garden that we have. We get them started out though with these trays. There's little 6-pack seed starting trays here. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get these all filled up with some of our seed starting soil. But we better get these filled up. Let's do that right now. All right, now we've got all of our seed starting soil put into our trays here. And what we're going to do is we're going to plant out different varieties of peppers that we have. But we're going to go over one thing real quick. I just need one thing. Let's do that real quick. All right, now, gloves. I've learned this the hard way, and I'm telling you, when you're dealing with super hot seeds or super hot peppers at all, do yourself a favor and put on some gloves. The bits of pepper or the hot gets into places that sometimes you can't even really just wash off all the time. So I'm just saying, I've learned my lesson. Gloves when we're handling the super hot peppers. Now all the other varieties don't have to worry about so much, but even, you know, even some jalapenos could give you some real good pain in the eye if you're not careful and you end up scratching or rubbing your eye or something like that, and that is not fun to do. So be careful there. Just use some gloves when you're handling the hot peppers. You should be safe. So what we're going to do is we're going to plant out probably about 2 seeds per cell in these 6 packs here. So what we'll do is we'll just take a pencil and we'll just kind of make a couple of spots. Alright, so you only need to go about 1/4 inch or so deep, maybe about 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch deep. But got all those little holes set up for some of our peppers here. We'll just take some of these Italian orange peppers and just drop. In there, tap it down just kind of lightly and make sure the soil's right, covering the seed really well. Now we grow out several of these, put a couple of them in each one of these, because ultimately what we're going to be doing is trying to get the best plants. So we'll be picking and choosing plants and seedlings as they grow and develop. Some of them might not grow so strong, some might just take off and grow a lot stronger than the others, and those are the plants that we're going to be looking for. So we grow plenty of them to ensure that we're going to get a good set of plants that we're going to be able to use in our garden. Okay, so I've put in a few of these here for the Italian orange, and then what we're going to do now, just make a simple label. I just pick up some of these sticks here that you can get in the craft section at the store. They're really inexpensive. And you just write down what they are. Alright, and just going to set those actually right here. And so we got those Italian orange set up there. So they're all good to go. We got them labeled and everything. I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of this tray, and then what we'll do is we'll take them over to our seed starting light station. So here we are at our seed starting station. Now I featured this seed starting station in the very last episode. We went over how I put this thing together. Right now I just want to show you we got our seedlings planted out in their different little cells here. We do have a couple of more trays that we'll be putting in. Now up above here you'll see that we got this Mylar here. This is Mylar sheeting. I'll put a link down below too for some of this if you're looking for some of that. And we use that to basically hold in the light here inside of the station. Okay, and we'll drop this one down on this side, and it'll basically be closet the light right inside of there. Now here we've got these mats down here, and these mats underneath have Christmas lights. And we use these Christmas lights and spread those around underneath of here in order to create a level layer of heat for right up underneath of our seeds here. Now your pepper seeds, they like to be nice and warm, so it's going to help them grow and sprout a lot faster by providing them with a nice source of heat right up underneath. It'll get right up into the seed tray there. Alright, so we're basically ready to go there for our 2018 pepper seeds. I'll finish out planting out the rest of the seedlings, put those down in there. We'll drop this down. Drop the Mylar right over the top of it there, and expect little seedlings to pop up there in the next week or so. So we're all set now. I've just got to finish planting out the rest of those seedlings there and put them into our light station, and we'll be all ready to go. Check on those in future episodes as we get going along here in our growing season. It'd be really cool to see how these peppers turn out this year. I'm really excited about seeing how that works. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today on this episode here. Please give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you know, hit me up in this comment section down below. Love hearing from you guys. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. Follow along with future episodes of The Urban Gardener as we get going and get growing some of these peppers in our growing season coming up. I'll see you on the next episode. Tell you. Why don't I just get into describing it? We'll put a plant. We'll get this going. We'll get it eventually. That's what we're here for. Is just to keep on working it. Pepper. All right. We'll get this out. We'll get